Shalom, shalom. I say all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. All praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Barakatah Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Tawada Yahweh Wa Yahweh Shai. Apostle Rakab back with another little impromptu video. And I say shalom to all you brothers. Wa Akwaf of the hopeful elect. Okay, and basically, man, this video right here, which I believe I had touched on this, I believe yesterday, in a video that I had did. I mean, basically, man, and I had quoted the scripture before. Excuse me. Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Which we know, that's talking about Esau, this devil, the so-called white man, them small hats in particular. These other Edomites, man, these other Edomites out here, these low-level, like trailer trash type Edomites, as we call like Joe Six-Pack and all that shit, them Edomite, they're the devil too, if you're an Edomite, if you're an Edomite. Because as we always say, you have Israelites that look like the other nations. So some of these so-called white people are actually Israelites through the line of their father that go, and we know that's a fact. Some of these Orientals are Israelites. Some of these East Indians, Arabs, these people that Israel is scattered amongst the nations. And we know this for a fact, and you could tell when you see it, if you're spiritual. Like Yahweh Shai said, when you go back to, what is it, Matthew 13:9, right? Who have ears to hear, let them hear. Yahweh Shai would always say that. Man, folks didn't understand how deep Yahweh Shai was. He would always say that. Who have ears to hear, let them hear. We all got ears on our head, but it's like it's a spiritual ears, a spiritual eyes to understand deep passages and deep sayings in the scriptures. A lot of people read the scriptures, like them so-called Christians in the church. T.D. Jakes and all them other assholes, they're up there reading the Bible. A lot of people read the Bible. Edomites read the Bible. Heathens read the Bible. But they don't have the scripture says wisdom is the principal thing. But with all thy getting, get understanding. You see that? That was in the scriptures. You got to get the true, proper breakdowns of the scriptures. But everybody don't have that. And that's just the reality of the fact, man. That's just the reality of the fact. And people have what's called the ego. That's pride. That's why the scriptures say what? That's in Proverbs, I believe. Pride goeth before a fall. You see, because pride is what destroys people. Their fucking pride. Pride is a demon. That's a powerful demon. And that's a demon that have destroyed a lot of people. It has destroyed kings, nations. Because people just refuse to humble themselves to what the scriptures are saying. And then, look, the Most High ain't going to talk to you directly. He going to send his prophets, his messengers, man. And that's in the scriptures, right? So basically, when you understand the scriptures, then you understand the truth. That's why we say here at Great Millstone, yes, we have 100% truth. And we're confident and bold in that because we have the Spirit of the Lord, man, because of the things that we're saying, the Lord is showing us that he's with us, that what we're saying is correct. Case in point, the prophecies. The prophecies, man. These prophecies are coming to pass. Through the grace of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, the Lord put it in our mouth to say what we had to say. Yahweh Shai said that. Take no script or no thought of what ye shall say, for it shall be given you in that same hour what ye ought to speak. Sometimes, we say this often, sometimes you might have an actual title that you want to go into, something you saw or something that was in your spirit, boom. But sometimes you just turn the camera on and just go for broke. Because the Spirit, if the Lord is with you, if the Spirit is working with you, the Lord going to put the words in your mouth to say what you're going to say. It's like that. Even myself, sometimes I'll have a topic that I want to go into in particular, but most of the times, I'll be honest, brothers, I turn this camera on and I just go into, I put my prayers up before I start the video, and then I just let the Spirit of the Lord kick in and do the rest. And I always pray to the Lord that whatever I'm saying, I'm bringing out the scriptures, I'm quoting the scriptures properly, and it's edifying to the congregation. That's the main thing. Edifying to the congregation. You understand what I'm saying? That's my main thing, man. And you brothers should think likewise. You understand? Because it's all about edifying the congregation. Because you don't want to mislead the congregation like so many other people are doing. Like that one scripture, the Lord said, I have not sent these pastors, yet they ran. Woe unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the flock of my pasture, saith the Lord. Because you got a lot of false teachers, false prophets that are out here just misleading the congregation, man. I did a video on that the other day. And if I was those dudes, I would be very scared. But see, the scripture says what? The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge or wisdom. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. So if you fear the Lord, you're going to do what the Lord said. And then what is the main thing the Lord said? Go out and teach the people that the Yahweh Shai, Matthew 10:5, that the kingdom of heaven is at hand. And the kingdom of heaven, Yahweh Shai, represented the kingdom of heaven, man. He is the representation of the kingdom of heaven, the word of the Lord. See, the kingdom starts off first spiritually, but then physically it will manifest when Yahweh Shai come back. It's going to physically manifest here on the earth. There's so many different scriptures that we know, and according to the prophecies and everything that we see according to the scriptures, that this is the last days, man. This is truly the last days. This place can't go no further. The bucket of iniquity is overflowing. So in knowing that, like the scripture said, and then knowing that, what manner of men ought ye to be? What's that scripture? Romans 13:11. And that knowing the time that is now is high time to awake out of sleep. For now is our salvation nearer than what we believed. So bro, like, and then Yahweh Shai went into all kind of scripture. Man, Yahweh Shai always spoke about if the good man of the house had known what time the thief would come, he would have kept watch. And then Yahweh Shai said what? Behold, I come as a thief. So we're supposed to be keeping watch. That's true. If you're on point, right? You got to always be in the mentality of being, so that's called being on point. I learned that back in One West. When I first came in the truth, like 30-something years ago, back then, as all brothers, man, you heard that was a catchphrase. It was the reality. Back then, in One West, when we came in the truth, brothers got to be on point. Brothers got to be on point. You got to be on point. But it was right. It was true. You got to always be on point. Always be ready for anything. You don't know what's fucking going to come. So with this truth, that's it, man. I did a video yesterday, intestinal fortitude. So you got to always be on point. You can never become lackadaisical in this truth. Docile-minded. Fuck that, okay. And I understand, man, this world will beat you down, man. The scriptures say, what? Shall wear out the saints of the Most High. And it's understandable. But fuck that, man. We soldiers. What do the scriptures say? Yahweh Shai. In the spirit, the words of Yahweh Shai, endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahweh Shai. So that's just where we at with this, man. So we're going to keep going. This is the only reason we keep promoting. Brothers, no matter what you go through, I don't care what's going on with you, your woman, your kids, your family. I don't care, man. This right here is what it is. This is end game. This truth. This is end game, man. All right? This is all we got. Outside of this, we got nothing in this world. This world is about to be put down. Babylon got to go at some point. Did not the Lord destroy Egypt? He brought Egypt down. He brought the great Roman Empire down. And I was watching a documentary on the Roman, like what happened to retired Romans. You know, like I'll be watching all kind of interesting little documentaries. I'll just be gathering information, man. Them Edomites, these Edomites are the Esau, them small hats. Esau in general, if you are actually an Edomite, they are fucking real. When we call Esau the devil, brother, we ain't never lied. This man is the devil, and he's always been the devil. And then you would say, okay, yeah, he did this shit to us, the Israelites, but he did it to the other nations too. But he do it to his own people. His own people. These top-level Edomites, these small hats, they're supposed to be spreading the wealth around. It should not be one poor Edomite on this side. If you're an Edomite, every Edomite should be enjoying the spoils of war. Every single Edomite. If you're an Edomite, if you're a so-called white person, that's actually an Edomite, you're supposed to be good. But no, you got so-called white people out here struggling, homeless, effed up. Got to bust their ass and die just to make a living, you know what I mean? So these devils, they're the devil to their own people, because Esau don't care. Esau don't look at it as, oh, these are other, we got to take care of all of our other Edomite brothers, the elites, you know, the elite banking families, the Rothschilds and all them jokers, okay? They don't care. To them, it's a class thing. Because Esau understands that there's, as with the Israelites. See, yo, man, that's heavy. Because amongst Israel, there's a class thing too. You got Israelites that are, I'm just gonna come straight. I don't care how offensive it sounds. You got Israelites that are better than other Israelites, especially on this side. You got Israelites that's above other Israelites. And you know what? It's gonna always be that way. And Esau, the elites, them Rothschilds and Rockefellers, the Illuminati, they understand that. So their plan is to do away with Israel altogether at the cost of at the cost of a few low-level Edomites that they look at as being beneath them. You know, them trailer trash, as they say, poor white trash Edomites. You think that the elite banking families care about them? They don't care about them. That's why the trailer park trash Edomites, the elites don't care about them. Because they say, yeah, they're Edomites, they're our people, but we don't give a fuck. They're not on our level, they're not of our class. So let them die right along with the niggers and the spicks. I'm telling you, the scripture said what? The spirit that is lifted up in him is not upright in him. That's talking about Esau. These Edomites, them elites, they are another type of beast, man. But they gonna get put down. They gonna be right in the mud, right along with their lower brothers and sisters in captivity. Because Esau is going into captivity, and we have to believe that. Maintain our faith. Everything is gonna play out the way it's supposed to play out, but we gotta play our parts in the game. But at the end of the day, if you of the elect, you're gonna make it. If you're not of the elect, you ain't gonna make it. So we can sit here all day and get on brothers. You brothers gotta do videos. You brothers gotta do this. You brothers, that's our job to do what we gotta do. Remember Ezekiel 33, I always bring that scripture out. If we don't sound the alarm, the watchman, the Lord will require the blood of the people of the city at the head of the watchmen. So people get mad, they get an attitude. Hey man, you can bounce up and down on top of your head, man, but hey, we gonna say what we gotta say. And we don't care, because we don't give a fuck about the world. And you know what? If any so-called brothers or sisters don't like what we're saying, hey, that's your problem. Take it up with the Lord, man. But the prophets always came and said what they had to say. That's why the prophets were not really liked. That's why the prophets, we pretty much stayed to themselves, man. And they only really, the prophets were really like kind of somewhat introverts or solitary men. Apostle Gabal always says that. He always would bring out that song by, there's this old singer. I don't know if he's still alive or not. And he was actually a so-called, he was actually a so-called small hat. But I think he might be a Jake, or he might have been Neil Diamond. Yeah, that dude was bad, man. Neil Diamond. Like I said, you younger folks, man, you don't. So I know, man. You know, I grew up in the late '70s and in the '80s, so I know about the old days. Yeah, I'm from the old school, man. And some of you brothers that might be a little around my age, I mean, I ain't no old man, but you know, I'm in my early 50s. But, I remember, I know a lot of shit. But it was a singer, Neil Diamond. He was, technically he was supposed to be a small hat, but personally, I think he might have been a Jake. He was a singer. He was like a singer back in the days. And, but he was bad. His songs are bad. But he had one particular song. He had one particular song called Apostle Gabar, knows music. He knew the song. It was a song called Solitary Man. And the song goes, I'll be what I am, solitary man, solitary man. I know the song myself. But a solitary man. Apostle Gabar used to always quote that back when we were teaching, like Neil Diamond, that song, Solitary Man, right? I learned that from Apostle Gabar. But anyways, the prophets were solitary men. They would come around when the Spirit of the Lord got on them to come around. And this really be like stoic, and when the Spirit of the Lord hit them, they would get up and go out almost like they was in a trance and say what they had to say. Whether you liked it or didn't like it, but back then, thousands of years ago, when the prophets came in, Israel knew. Israel is on a much lower vibration now, but they knew. Sometimes they would tell her, do you come for war or do you come for peace? When the prophet Samuel came around, man, people got scared. The prophet Elijah, when John the Baptist said what he had to say, John the Baptist was a straight prophet, man. He represented John the Baptist. He was kind of like represented the last of the old guard. Yahushua came on the scene and set up the disciples and the order. John the Baptist was like really the last of the old guard, man. That old prophetic, order, man. You see what I'm saying? But the disciples themselves were prophets, but they were disciples. Yahushua refined everything. John the Baptist, man, he kind of represented that old guard of Samuel the prophet, Elijah the prophet, you know what I mean? Elisha the prophet, The prophets would be to themselves and just rugged. They were rugged, rough men. And people didn't understand them. They were very misunderstood by the people. But when they came to just do the work of the Lord, and that was it, and get up out of there. Okay? And they didn't care if nobody liked them or liked what they had to say, because they didn't care. I'm doing the Lord, you see? But yeah, man, but with that, I'm going to wrap it up, brothers. I pray the video was edifying. Lord willing, I'll be back with a follow-up video very soon. All right? I say shalom to the whole